Hey folks, welcome back to the All About Racing. Today we're going to take a look at a 2010 Spark 143 scale Spyker Spider, and I'll tell you, it's a mouthful. Actually, it's a Spyker Spider Squadron, is how they described it. Do not pay any attention to the base. This I had attached this model to a base of a Hatchet's Mazda that I had because when I bought this car, it did not come with a base or a jewel cover. It was from somebody's collection in Australia. It was sold as is, so I did not have the luxury of getting that. And when I received it, it was wrapped in a plastic bag, literally. I mean, it was wrapped up securely, but it was in a baggie. And the rear wing had broken off the back of it. The antenna was detached. I had to repair it. The seller ended up refunding me my money and just told me to keep it. He didn't even want it back. So anyhow, that's how I acquired this. This is a second generation Spyker Spider. I have a hard time getting that out of my mouth sometimes. A really neat looking car, and the first generation car is the one that you see there right behind you. And I'll actually do a video comparing the two of these together because the body styles are drastically different in these two cars. To give you a little history on Spyker, Spyker is a Dutch automaker that has been making luxurious high performance supercars, for years and years and years. I think they finally went out of business in, I think it was 2022. So I don't believe they're making cars anymore. But anyhow, this is a 2010 model. The Spyker motto in Latin is translated, "For the tenacious, no road is impassable." I thought that was kind of neat. This car is powered by an Audi V8 engine capable of producing 400 horsepower and a top speed of 190 miles an hour. Not bad. Like all metals made by Spark, this is resin. It is sealed. However, it is very highly detailed. It's kind of hard to see through it, particularly because of the age and the plastic on it. As much as I've tried to clean it up, it has deteriorated, unfortunately, quite a bit. From what it might have been, 12, 13 years ago when it was brand new. And the camera, of course, points out every flaw on the car, that you can see when you light it up. It doesn't really look that bad otherwise. But anyhow, it is kind of unique in a lot of different ways. It has a lot of chrome on it. You've got all these chrome air inlets. And if you take a look at the inside of those air inlets, you can clearly see the grill work in there. I mean, so they just didn't punch a hole in the side of it. It's virtually a two-piece air inlet. And there's also a third one on the roof of the car, which you can see right there, along with a very, very small bent antenna on the side of it. Making antennas is not easy. It's kind of hard work, and it doesn't always come out perfect. But nevertheless, I think it's a pretty sharp-looking car with the blue and yellow livery. You can tell it could be in the GT2 class of the at Le Mans in 2010. If you take a look at the front of it, again, very, very sharp. You can see more grill work here. Now, granted, this is a mid-engine car, so I imagine it probably has a radiator up front that they're trying to cool down a little bit. But very nice looking grill work on it, and something that you're going to see on both the front and the back that I've got to point out because you just don't see this in model cars today. This is their logo, which is actually an airplane propeller with a spiked wheel behind it. And Spyker made both not only automobiles but airplanes as well, and the logo reflects that. And this logo is not a decal. It is not painted on there. It is an inlaid little tiny piece of metal that they put into it, and you just don't see that much anymore, particularly in model cars of this scale. But anyhow, really good looking front. Let's turn it around here and I'll show you this. You can see some more of the interior detail from here. Guys, it is a fantastically detailed car. It's just impossible to show it to you. I even tried shining a light into it to see if it would be any better, and it didn't help much. Because as I say, the plastic is kind of crappy, which is kind of a shame because it's a really neat car. But I guess all the more reason for you folks to, if you have these cars, not to take them off the bases, to keep them in their jewel boxes attached to their base so you can preserve it as best as possible. I never remove any of my cars from their bases. I never will. This is a prime example of why you don't want to do that, because if you ever wanted to sell it someday, it's almost impossible to ship it without that. But taking a look at the back of it here, and I just kind of like the back end of it. It's just so unusual in its design. You've got these rather bizarre louvers on the side. The four taillights they're just different. It kind of reminds you almost of a German Opel car, so to speak. The grill work on it is phenomenal. You've got the diffuser, the struts, the tow hook, and again, there is that inlaid piece of metal. Let's see if I can pull it back. It's kind of hard to do with the camera, but anyhow, just really neat metal work that they've done with this. And there's a good look at the engine bay of the car. Very, very nicely done. You can see the transparent window with the venting on it to move air and heat from out of that, because I'm sure that thing gets really, really hot. But it does have that air vent on the top, which I'm sure is designed to bring cool air into it to help cool down the engine, because we all know how hot these engines get, and it's very, very important to keep them cool in a long distance race, particularly 24 hours. But here, if you look at it from the top, you get a unique look at the pattern of it, which is strange, but it's a very neat combination of blue and yellow. I think it's a very, very cool and attractive looking car. But anyhow, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care.